used it before. So if you would like to talk about initial steps of signing up or anything, let me know. But otherwise, I'll just go into the actual how it looks from the teacher and student view inside. Okay, and please let me know if my sound gets funky, and I'll plug in my speaker headphone things. Let's see here. Okay. Sorry, move this over here. Okay. So for Classkick, we have this initial dashboard here of your assignments and your roster and information on the left-hand side. Pretty much you sign up and there's a basic or a pro account. They're very similar, although the basic account only allows up to 20 assignments for the teacher to create and save. And with the pro account, you can also have the kids save their work in a portfolio type situation. But the majority of all of like the features in terms of creation of the assignments and using some of their features like their stickers and stuff, all of that is regardless if you're signed up for the pro account or not, which the pro account is currently free if you submit a request or whatever. So basically this is kind of like another tool in terms of how we get this information and stuff out to kids, but as everything is, I mean, you kind of have to think about what your purpose is and what you're trying to do, because otherwise you might be like, well, how is this better than another thing? Well, maybe it's not better, but it's just a different use that you might need it for. So I've been doing it more for things that are like PDFs, because you have to do PDFs or pictures, PNG files, but or JPEG. But if you wanted to do something like a PowerPoint slides presentation to put it in there, you could. You just have to download that presentation as a PDF, and then it'll go into the assignment view. But your options are basically in here that you can create an assignment up at the top from scratch, just a blank assignment. Or you could upload a file, which again would be a PDF or something. Or you could look through their assignment library. They don't have a ton of options in their library so far, but it's obviously something that's growing. So I would say go back and check again every so often. But I'm just going to show you kind of some examples of what I've done and then how you might, see some of the features. So stop me if you want to know more or less about something. But from this view, you can see there's a cool thing about Classkick that I like. You see that the symbol for their icon or whatever is this hand raised. That's kind of like their, I don't know, special thing. So over here on the right-hand side of my assignment list, you can see that there's this number. It says 0, and then there's 1 here, and this little hand. And that basically means that at some point, some child in the assignment has raised their hand to have either the teacher come and check their work, or like it's kind of like a reassurance, like, did I do this right? Or they need help, like specifically saying, I don't get how to do this. So when I was, for example, doing this, let's see, here's a practice one I was doing with the kids during one of our video meets. Like I had half my class and they went in there. And you can see from this view of the assignment, you get either your edit screen, your assigning screen, or your view work screen. And over here, it has this hand as well with the 1. And if I click on that, it's going to tell me that I have a student who has raised their hand, and it says it's please check. So the yellow hand means that they need help. The green hand means they want someone to check on them. There's also this really cool chat bar. It's like a little instant messaging system between you and the student on whatever slide they're currently working on. You'll also notice on this view from this page that this is the part that I was like, oh, I want to use this for. You can see all the kids' work as they're doing it, as they're progressing through the slides live. So like I can see exactly which slide they are on. It'll give you a dark black outline around kids who are like active on the slide, or I can see how far they've progressed. I can also see as they're drawing, it'll show me in here in this view exactly like as they click and let go, it's going to pop up on my view too. So I can tell like, oh, I can see from afar that you've written a word with the letter tiles. Oh, I can see from afar that you are drawing whatever shape it was. And so it's just a nice, quick check as to what the whole class is doing at once. But they also have these filters. So for example, I'll show you a different one that's better because all of the kids did this assignment, but you can filter out any kid who is not online currently, or you could filter out any kid who has not started the assignment. But there's just a few different options here. You can shrink them if you want to just have a very tiny view of how many points they're getting on an assignment, which again, I don't usually do the points, but you can. So for example, for this one where the kid had said, please check my work, if you clicked on it, you'll see that this is my view, but it's kind of also the same as what he sees. Over here on the right-hand side, there's this green hand, and that's where they have gone to click to ask for me to check. So they've raised their hand to say, hey, can you see if this looks okay, whatever, and then I can put his hand down to tell him, like when he logs in, he will see that his hand has been put down. And I said, and also from this view, send him a message in this little chat bar here. And then when he logs in later, he's going to see that he has a message from me. He'll have a little 1, like a received message type thing. The other thing you can do is you can just kind of like Google Slides, when you have a make a copy version in the Google Classroom, you can also go into the students' work and edit as they're working, and you can either, draw something. I had one kid, the first day we were trying to do this, she could not figure out where the hand thing was or the text box, and I was just drawing all over the page these big arrows to point, like, it's over here. And she finally found it and then clicked the button. But you can edit on their slide. You can record your voice. You could send them like a little voice message and leave an audio button, and then they could listen to it back. The only thing you can't do is like I can't like just make a video of myself talking and insert it right there. I would have to put a link to a YouTube video, and they would go look at it outside.
Nicole, all these features are on the free version, like the insert and all that stuff. As far as you know?
Yes, let me see here. I did have this picture. I took a screenshot of the comparison tool a little while ago. So it says the basic one is you get unlimited rosters, but you get 20 assignments. But then all of these features like the pen, the highlighter, text, audio, PDF import, manipulatives, and multiple choice are all the same for basic and pro. The difference comes more as you look at some of these other things like student portfolios. The Google Classroom, there's a button to assign it from the Classkick view to Google Classroom, so I can send them an assignment from there. So I guess that integration portion, or pulling their names from Google Classroom, you might have to like manually add the kids. That stuff is all the pro version. But for the most part, if you're not grading and you're not trying to like get their work as a PDF, it's all going to be basically the same. I just think the portfolio part is the biggest difference, that like their work isn't going to be saved in their account every time they log in. Which I have to remember to point out that there's this one thing that was annoying me because the kids get confused about how to log into this website initially. But maybe I'll go back to that in a minute after I kind of go through how this looks when you're creating stuff as well. So for example, if you are going to make an assignment and you want to upload a PDF, let's say, of a mystery science worksheet or something. The other day I was looking at one for this dinosaur video that they said we should be doing. And at the end of it, it had the option to do either a copy of the Google Slides or download a PDF. Well, I usually would do Google Slides for most things because I just am comfortable using that. However, the activity was something that they had to mark up. So that wouldn't make sense for a Google Slides. The kids aren't very good at, using all of those tools in the Google Slides. So we have Kami obviously as an option, but correct me if I'm wrong, you can't see the kids' work all at once in one screen from Kami. It would be more like they submit an assignment and then you can view them individually. So with this one, for example, here, I just downloaded that PDF. I pushed this plus button and created from the file. I grabbed that dinosaur PDF in there and it just added it. So I'll show you what it looks like. Here it is. There's 4 pages that were included. And the program automatically knows to separate these pages by however many pages are in the PDF. Or if you are using a Google slide and you downloaded it as a PDF, then it'll know each slide basically from the PDF file is going to be a slide in the Classkick as well. And then you can add additional ones. So maybe I added these first, but I want to have another slide. I can just push create a new one. And then I could always go back. Like here, I put in the link to the Mystery Science video in case they wanted to go back and rewatch it. And then I had my audio voice recording of, well, I just always record myself explaining what the text says. So I just read the instructions aloud and then put that in here. But that basically, you just click this button and you push start recording and it's integrated in here. It's really nice. It's super simple. You say whatever you need to say, push stop, and then it's right there. So it's super fast and the kids have the ability to do the same. They can ask a question in audio. If they don't want to do a written question to you, they can just push that button, say what they want to ask. It'll insert, and then when they raise their hand, I'll go back and see, oh, there's like another audio in here. I didn't do that, and I can listen to it. So let's see here. When you're working in here, you can change the point values of things. And the only time that I thought like, that was helpful really was when I was doing this one for math the other day. I think it was this one, equivalent fractions maybe. Yeah, oh yeah. So I was using, the Joe Bowler Mindset Math stuff, the visual number cards. I had decided that I wanted to put them in there to re-explain something, and that I was going to make little auto checking boxes in there. So what I did was I wrote my instructions. I'm very messy when I write on here, but I wrote my instructions in here, and then I colored in an example, and then I tried to draw the green dotted line box so they knew that that's where they were going to do it too. But basically all you do is you click this little button here to add a fill in the blank, and then you draw it wherever you want to go. The nice thing is, like when I'm uploading a PDF in English and I want to translate it to Spanish, if I dropped a text box over that, it'll white out the background. So it's not like I have to color in that text box white. It's just automatically white. Same thing with the fill in the blank. If you had a, like even here, I could just put this exactly the size of the word, and then it's going to be white, and they'll just see that dotted green line, and then they'll know that they have to type in there. Initially, the kids were using the pen to just write in the box, but then after our Google Meet, I was able to explain to them how they have to click and then just use their keyboard to write the numbers or the letters or whatever. But you add in here any acceptable answers, and you can always obviously go back and change this at any point, but you would just write in here whatever it's supposed to be. And then as the kids are working, if they have, like, for example, the numbers ones are easier to show that. Like here, I've put in that the answer is 3 because they're coloring half of this. And so they have to put the numerator as 3. And if they do it correctly, a little green check appears right on that box. So they know that they've done it correctly immediately. And that's without assigning points. That's just, yes, you've gotten it. And then if it's wrong, there's a little red X that appears. So it's kind of like they can reassure themselves if they've done it correctly or not. Or if you're just having them write with the pen, they always have that option to hit that little hand button, which this is my editing view, so there's not a hand, but from their student view, they can click that and say, I don't get it, or can you check my work? And then when I go back in, the cool thing for that is I can put a sticker on it too, which is so silly, but they do kind of like to see. But you can you customize your stickers. So I have some that say great job, and then I have others that say you need to finish, because sometimes they don't scroll down all the way, or some that say you need to review this question. But your view for the stickers is basically like one by one. You have the option to do it one by one, or you can go to this tab up here which says view work. And sorry, I'm just going to explain this part here too. The reason that this is dark is because right now I have my filters set so that I see how far they have advanced through the slides. So for some reason, this kid logged in, he did the first question, and then he must have closed the tab. He did not advance to slide 2 or 3. So that's why it's dark. But the other kid here above, he did go through all 3, so they turned white. Or not white, but you can see what was on that page. And this is live time viewing as well. So as he's writing, I'm seeing it pop up on this page too. But you can kind of see there's like a little purple thing here and a green thing here and a green thing here. Those are the stickers. So when I'm giving feedback, I can click from this whole class view on the sticker button. And it's really super fast, but you can't really see super well. So it's better if it's something easy to see from far away. I can just click on this and then it gives me this tool to hit this sticker button and it's just popping a little, message. And this one says, good job. So just click it. I can go through the whole list really fast and say, good job, good job, good job, good job. If I was actually looking at an individual student's work, like say here's one where she had put this upside down for the numerator denominator or something, or not even correctly, but still. She got a little, here you can see the check she got, so she knew this one was right, but she saw that there was an X here that she knows that one is incorrect. But then here I put a little sticker that says you need to finish this page, and I can do that from this little star sticker button. So you can do it individually or to the whole class. That's just kind of like a little fun thing. But again, for distance learning, I think it's nice because it's kind of a reassurance like, oh yeah, the teacher did see my work and I did it okay, especially if you have them all logging in around the same time and you're viewing it live, then you can be in there right away, like responding and putting a note or a text, the comment box that you have back and forth with them. And then that way they can know, okay, I understand how to use this. Again, for the filters, I'll show you that with this page since I have some kids who didn't do it all. You can always shrink the thumbnails if you have a lot of pages. You can hide. That's what I did. I hide. I have it like grayed out over the ones they have not viewed because I want to see how far they've advanced. So I select that option. You can click this to hide any kids who are not online. So the other day I did half my class at the same time doing an assignment, and the other half was a later meet time. And when the first half was on, I clicked this button, and that way only those kids showed up because the other kids weren't logged in. But for example, now nobody's on this assignment. So if I click it, then there's not going to be anything visible. Then you can hide kids who haven't even started it. And then there's this also other thing that I've allowed, but I've seen it happen once because again, it's kind of an extra feature, but you can have the kids help each other. So basically that hand raising tool, you can have it set that it's just that I see that they have their hand raised, or they can also have it set so that their peers could see that somebody is raising their hand. And it's going to be anonymous. So if they're like working on page 2, and they see a little symbol that says hand raised of a peer or whatever, they can go click on that. It will redirect them to the other kids' page that they're working on the same page. And at that point, the first student has the ability to write a text box message, draw something, use the pen tool, whatever it may be. Which again, if they're doing it like helpfully and appropriately, then obviously that's great. And if you don't want them to be able to do that, then you can click the button to not allow them to do that. But it's anonymous, so they're not going to know who's writing who they're helping. It's just if you want the other kids to help each other. But my kids haven't really noticed that tool very much. I don't think I only saw it like one time happen. And then let's see here. I showed you the mystery science one, but then I also was going to say there's this other tool for manipulatives that this is kind of the only part of Classkick that's a little bit like slow, is when you're making something that has movable pieces, because you're using your PDF, you're uploading, and you're selecting the portion of the page that you want to use. So if I want to use if it's something that I have bought that has like cut and paste, you can't select all of those things. I wish there was like a selector tool that would highlight each piece like a table, and I can make little boxes around multiple things. You have to do them one at a time. So that's a little time consuming. But if you want them to move things around, there's some templates in here that were cool, like that letter making one. I grabbed that from the assignment library and then made a copy of it so my kids could write words. But if there's something specific that you want them to do for a sort and move the manipulatives, then it does take a little bit of time to do that. So I can show you an example of how that looks if that's helpful. I'll just show you an example of making an assignment really quick. And then I also have if you would like to see it yourself from the student view, there's a PD assignment that I can send you in the chat, and then you can log in and it walks you through each of the features while I can see how you're progressing on my screen. And then there's information on how to sign up your own account if you don't have one already. So let's see here. For example, if I'm creating something from a file on my computer, like maybe I want to do this. I found this thing online and I just want to use a portion of it or a picture that they had that was good. Like here, maybe I want to do, I'm doing equivalent fractions this week. I could select that I want to just have, oops, just this part, or I could select the entire page, or I could click that I want to import all of the pages of this PDF, which you can see it's 15 pages long. Like, let's say I just want to do a portion right now. Maybe I just want to do this piece here for the kids. That's going to import one large section. That's not going to be a manipulative. Then I can say this is going to be question number 1, and then I'm going to click next. I don't have to leave the screen. I can add another portion of that PDF, but I can't at this point open a new PDF to add a piece. I'd have to close, finish, and then add more. So I can push add another from this same PDF. Maybe I want to do something from here. Maybe I'll get the instructions in there. And then I'll push next. And I can decide if I want that to go on the same page or if I want it to go on another slide, the next page. So maybe I want that to be page 2, or you can select multiple as well, which is helpful if you're trying to like reuse an image on many pages. You can click multiple questions. And then after I'm done selecting those items, I'll push finish, and it's generating a new assignment. And you'll see that they're here, page 1 and page 2. So that's easy enough. But if I wanted them to be able to, like, I don't know, move around the pieces in here, then I would have to go in and actually click on this little, it's this one, manipulative button, so that they can move the pieces. Because what I put in here so far, they can't move. They can write all over it. They can record, do text boxes, but they can't move this right now. So if I click on here, I don't know if you guys, when I'm clicking things, if you're seeing the pop-ups that I'm getting, hopefully. Like right now, there's a GIF of how students add images to move, but hopefully you see that.
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay, good. Because last time I was doing this with Google Classroom, and then I realized people couldn't see what I was clicking in the bar at the top. So, okay, thank you. So let's say I have something in here that I want to add a different PDF manipulatives into, like, I don't know, I think I had one. Oh, I know. Let's say like the math journal. If you have everyday math and you have downloaded a page from the journal to your computer, the PDFs from the website, you can do something like the math boxes. And maybe, well, this isn't a great example for that one, but still, I'll just pretend like it's something I want to move around, okay? So I'm creating a manipulative right now. You could go back and just add this as a page. You could add whatever portion you want, but I want to make it so it's something they can move around. So I'll select that piece that I want them to be able to move, and then I'll push next. I want it to go on the same page, let's say. I can add another one from the same PDF right now. Like, let's say this triangle is something, I don't know. And then I can keep going. I can add it to another page, whatever, but then I'll push finish, and it's going to insert those 2 pieces. And I do think it's a little confusing. Like right now, I can move everything as the teacher. So if you walk away, you might forget, but there is a little clue. I don't know if you can see this tiny little white box on the corner and the little white box next to it that's empty. That shows you that it's a manipulative, versus this one doesn't have that in the corner. But this one, when I hover over it, I can see that little clue. So these pieces, the kids will later on log in and they'll be able to move them around. So if you're doing a sort, they can grab it and move it, put it in the right spot. They can also color, they can use the other tools. They could color this in on top of it. It becomes something like a background where they can write over it. Okay, so then I'm trying to think if there was something else I was just going to show you. Oh, when you first sign up, it does give you a practice assignment for the kids to use and get used to the tools, which I thought was really helpful. There's a PD one for teachers and there's one for students. So I'll real quick show you the student one, and then I'll send you, if you want to check out the grown-up version and do that right now, we can look at that together. But obviously it's already almost 10:30. So So the kids get this assignment. Again, whoever's in your roster, you push assign. I imported my kids from Google Classroom, so that's why I have them all here. Oh, I remember what I was going to say to you before. The kids, when they first log in, it says basic or pro. And I swear to God, every single time they want to type in their name, because there's a box for their name, I wish it was like I could send them a link that was just for the pro version, because they constantly are just putting in their own name. And I'm like, don't write your name, push continue with Google. So anyways, if they do that, you can set your roster to be locked so that nobody else can enter it. And I didn't realize that till this week. So now I click up here in this assign. I think it's this assign one. There's a little button. Oh no, I'm wrong. It's view work. This little 3-dot button here gives me the option to manage the roster. And from that view, I click the little 3-dot button again. This is why I never found it. And then I hit lock options, and I can lock it so that no other users are able to log in. And it does say right here, this is helpful if you don't want more students logging in with goofy names. Like, I don't even know, they were writing their own names, but I could tell it wasn't theirs because it said next to it basic, or they just had their first name, not their email attached. So again, that's just something if you do the pro version that.
Hey, Nicole, can you have students log in with Google, like even in the basic? Sorry if you already said that, but do students have to, or do you have to actually create accounts for them, or can they just, like some of our other tools, just log in with Google?
So I think what happens is when I signed up, it was already set as the pro. So I imported the roster from Google Classroom, and they now have the option to hit that button, but they still accidentally sometimes do the basic version. So when they log in, all it asks for is their name. And so if they type, I've logged in as a student, I just type in something random, like my first name, and then push continue. And I don't think it asked to log in with Google. I think it just logged them in. As long as they have the link to the assignment, they're able to access it and work in it. And then in my roster, it'll show me who has been accessing my file, the ones from my Google Classroom and anybody else who was added. So I can't remember if it asked when I tried it as a student, if I wanted to log in with Google, but I don't think it did, only because it doesn't save the portfolio. But I could be wrong. I can't quite remember. But you can do this, obviously. Your 20 assignments as a basic user will be saved, so all the kids' work from those 20 assignments is going to be there. But their view, they're not going to be able to go back and review what they've done in the past, especially if you delete an assignment. They're not going to be able to go back and look at it again if they're using the basic version, which maybe they don't need to. It could be not a big deal. Oh, look at that. So today they were doing this dinosaur thing. I have 5 hands raised. So you can see when I click on this, then all of a sudden in the view work section tab, I'm going to have these hands, and it'll tell me which kid. Oh, it's all the same kid. He wants me to check each page. So I can go back and do that really quick. And you can see it's a black line right here. That means that this kid is currently on this page. And you can see he has not advanced to the next pages, but this kid above him has advanced. And then this girl has asked me to come and check her work on each page. So again, that's just kind of the cool view that you don't get when you do things through Google Classroom. And then what was I going to show you guys? I forget if there was something else. Well, I was just going to share with you the Classkick PD assignment. This was the one that the kids get, and it has them add a text box, move around, draw things on the map, move the manipulatives. They had a lot of fun with it. I asked them at the end how they liked it, and so they were all like, I love Classkick. I was like, wow, okay. So they just wrote in here what they liked about it. And then there's this PD version for teachers. So I don't know, Alicia, if you want to put in that, I don't know if you need to put it in again, that CPDU thing, but if anybody would like to try this, I'll put it in the chat now, if that's okay.
Yep, I just typed in the CPDU form again, so.
Okay, and then if anybody wants to try this real quick, I'll put that link in there. PD assignment, I push assign, code, copy. Oh, and then I don't know if you can still see over here, but when I'm copying the link, there is a button for Google Classroom. That's how I would just send this straight into Google Classroom for my students. Again, with the pro version or whatever. Okay. And then this one, I have it unlocked so that anybody can get in, because the other versions I did with my students, I decided to lock it because I was like, I'm tired of looking at all these 10 versions of the same kid. right, logging in the wrong way. Okay. And then when you click on that, it's gonna, you might see even if it might tell you right now if you click on that, if you have to log in with Google, but you definitely do have to put like a username, basically. You just like type in something in the name portion and push go, but I don't know if it asks you to do the Google part again. Okay, did it work okay? So, anybody try that or get in?
Yeah, Nicole, I'm actually in and I'm doing the little activities. It's pretty cool.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay, yeah. And then you can see on my view, if you click back over, that I can see how far you're progressing. So I can tell that 2 people are in that right now,
Oh, yeah,
and
cool.
which page they're on. And it's like a live view as you're drawing. As soon as you unclick and it draws the line, it appears on my view.
That's awesome.
So that was my favorite part. I was just like, oh, I want to see what they're doing as they're doing it, because I know I can do that in Google Classroom, but it's individual. Like I have to click one by one on the list.
So you did this with your kids so that they got used to the tools and stuff.
Yeah, when you sign up, this is like automatically, I think in your assignment tab, it pre-generates some. Well, this one actually technically is the ED assignment for teachers, but there's one that shows up immediately and it's for students. So you'll be able to assign that to your students right away before you even try to create or find an assignment. But it was, it's just hard to think of ideas sometimes of what you're going to do with something new, or like, when am I going to use this tool exactly? But it's helpful to look at that assignment library for that reason. And then the other thing is you can always share an assignment you've created with a fellow teacher, and then it'll ask them to make a copy of that assignment. So if I did something for math, I just send it to another friend on my team, and they're able to make that copy of the assignment and use it with their students.
There's a couple questions in the chat. Claudia, do we automatically have access to the pro version? No. So Nicole, you actually had to like submit an application or a request from them directly. So it's not through the district. It's like you individually could do it.
It's per school. So like when you send it, they say that there's like well, when I did it, I think in like the 3rd of April or something. So it was a little over a month ago, but at the time they said, okay, we're going to review your application, whatever. If you try to type in your school and somebody already has done this for you, it'll pop up and you'll know that somebody else is the admin at your school. But if nobody in your school has used this before, you will become the admin for your school. So you will have to verify anybody else who signs up. But basically it took like 2 or 3 days, but I got an email back saying, okay, you've been approved. You're off the wait list. You get this free pro account until the end of June. And so now you are the admin, but you can add co-admins, because then once you're importing people, you just have to say like, yes, that person goes to that school. It's easy, but you become the person who has to verify if you're the first to sign it up. I think it took like 2 or 3 days, but maybe they were just bogged down at the time. It might be faster now. I wish it was just automatically free. I mean, most websites are right now. But.
And yeah, I don't know. Do you know what the cost is for Pro? But because it does have a cost, but they just waived it for now.
Right.
So next year there would be a cost. Yeah.
It'll be for now, but I want to say it was kind of a lot, because I think I clicked initially to see like, what is this thing? And then what's the Pro version? I was like, whoa. But it may have been the school-wide one that was like 400 something. I hope it wasn't for each classroom. I can't remember now, but it's somewhere on that initial page that you can check out the pricing. But it's another thing that's kind of like, okay, well, if not now, when? Like, try the tool out, see if you like it, and then think about maybe if you need the pro version of something next year. But since these things are all free right now, it's a good time to explore.
And I know a bunch of teachers in the middle schools are using this a lot, and have been really enjoying it too. So,
and I know
thank you.
they have grading and stuff in there too. You can do points and whatever, but I haven't really done that so much because I like the little checkbox. You can just auto yes or no, it's right. But the rest, I'm like, I don't think they care about that, the kids. Okay, was there any other?
Awesome, yeah. Any other questions?
Or I'll go back over here.
I found myself wanting to keep going and doing my little activities in the slide.
I know, it's like just everyone's quietly working, like drawing, doing your best artwork. I have one student who's really good at highlighting. I'm like, how are you doing that? She's like, I'm using my finger, not the tracker. I was like, oh.
There you go.
But yeah, so you can copy this assignment when you go in. It's in the assignment library, or if there's anything that you make, you can send it to people and they can send you theirs. And there you go. I think that's about it. I'm happy to hang out if you want me to check your work, but otherwise.
Thank you so much, Nicole. This has been fantastic. This
Okay,
was recorded.
Good.
So if you guys watch it and want to be reminded of how she did different things, you can go to the YouTube channel and watch it in the playlist for the tech slams. And there's also a Classkick playlist. And then she will be repeating this at 2 o'clock. So
yeah, and you can email me if you're like, hey, I want to do that math activity in Spanish. Send that to me and I'll send it to you. All right. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you so much.